I call this the quantity-quality cycle. See, we've been taught to believe that quantity and quality are two separate things, that you either have one or the other, that you either prioritize one or the other. You can either produce a lot of crap or you can produce something that's quality. But really, that's not the case. See, these two things actually go hand in hand. They are both required for prolific output and quality, for productivity and success. See, we think that the key to quality is just quality, but it's not. It's both, including quantity, as you can't get to quality unless you do a lot. You must do a lot, test a lot, put out a lot, be prolific in your output to get good enough to produce quality. On the flip side, if you produce just one thing, one product, one service, one valuable innovation, that's probably not going to get you the results you want either. So you must then combine that quality, once you have it, with quantity. You just keep going. You should keep going and producing more stuff, more quantity, which will then make you more perfect, closer to perfection, which will enable you to produce even better stuff. Else you're stuck at a certain level of quality. And the way to get better is to be humble again, go back into quantity, do more, test more, create more, fail more, and that will make you better, which will allow you to raise your level of quality. Then once you've raised your level of quality, what do you do again? You go back to quantity, you do more, you test more, you do all this stuff. Can you see how these two things go hand in hand? Can you see that? And to really bring this home, here's a bit from the book Art and Fear by David Bales and Ted Orland. In that book, they share the following story, and it's genius. The ceramics teacher announced an opening day, and he was dividing the class into two groups. All those on the left side of the studio, he said, would be graded solely on the quantity of work they produced. All those on the right side, solely on its quality. His procedure was simple. On the final day of the class, he would bring in his bathroom scales and weigh the work of the quantity group. 50 pounds of pots rated at A, 40 pounds at B, and so on. Those being graded on quality, however, needed to produce only one pot, a perfect one, to get an A. Well, come grading time, and a curious fact emerged. The works of highest quality were all produced by the group being graded on quantity. It seems that while the quantity group was busy churning out piles of work and learning from their mistakes, the quality group had just sat, theorizing about perfection, and in the end had little more to show for their efforts than grandiose theories and a pile of dead clay. That's the story. The group that were graded on quantity actually did stuff, and they produced, and they learned from their mistakes, which enabled them to have quality, which produced quality in the room. The ones who just focused on quality, not quantity, never got there. So you need both of these hand in hand. You need quantity to get to quality. Now, remember how before I shared about how people like Mozart or Edison produced a lot, that they were prolific? Well, here's the other side to that. See, while Mozart may have produced over 600 musical pieces, only about 6 of them are recognized amongst the list of the greatest pieces of music ever written. While that's impressive, that's only about 1/100th of his work to be considered great. If you extend it to good and great work, not the best work, he produced maybe a few dozen pieces that fit into those categories and stood the test of time, but that's still little compared to the 600 pieces that he wrote. What about Edison? Over 1,000 US patents to his name. He was the most prolific US inventor of all time. Well, only a handful of those patents are recognized today. And Einstein? Sure, he may have published 248 scientific articles in his life, but what do we think of? We think of the theory of relativity. That's what put him on the map and put him into the Scientific Hall of Fame. Only a handful of his ideas are recognized today. Picasso, over 1,000 pieces of art, that's a lot of art, but only a handful are considered his great work. Are you seeing the pattern? See, you need quantity to get to a certain level of quality. And once you get to a certain level of quality, you need to go back to quantity and produce more, test more, fail more, make more mistakes to get to an even higher level of quality. It's a loop, it's a cycle. And that's how you become truly prolific and produce quality. It's how you be truly productive. You identify what you want, big picture, what you're going to focus on, those productive inputs and outputs, and then you follow the cycle over and over. You keep producing, stay with what's meaningful to you, and you consistently improve to get higher and higher levels of quality, which is what you're rewarded for. Do less by narrowing your focus on what matters, but do more by producing a lot within those focused areas.